Hey guys, it's Rich with MBO Backyard Fixes. Hey, we have something a little different for you today. We have this push mower. It's a Huskee. They are sold at like Tractor Supply, and MTD makes them for Tractor Supply with the Huskee name on it. But it has a surprise engine on it. So if you guys want to stay tuned, let's find out what's wrong with it. What do we got? What are we looking at? It is a Huskee Supreme with a Kawasaki. Woohoo! 22-inch. So this is powered by a Kawasaki. So 179cc on a Huskee, which is different because usually Huskies are lower end mowers. And here is the number for you. There's a couple issues with it, so let's just go ahead and look at some of these. So this looks like this is the wrong cable. I mean, it goes in there, but it's either stretched out. I've never seen one stretched out that far, but something's going on with the cable. And see about this one down here. So self-propelled. Now that cable, is it moving at all? It's moving just a little bit inside there, and it doesn't start. So is there a primer bulb on it? Don't look like a primer bulb. If there is, it's missing and broken. So let's check the vitals. Any gas in there? Gas tank looks empty. Check the oil. Looks like it has oil in it. So looks like it has some oil in it, but it does not start. Let's see about the air filter here. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get two hands. There we go. Air filter looks pretty good. So not too bad. Alright, so let's get some, we got oil. We have no gas in it. Let's get some starter fluid put in it. Let's do that. Have to do something with this. How are we going to pull this brake over? Alright, we got to do some fancy maneuvers. Hold on. Let's see what we can do. So, it won't start without this brake, right? So if you guys following along here, this has to be pulled. And is it rusted? I can't pull it. So we're gonna, let's get a little WD-40 or something down in there, see if we can break it up real fast. Alright. See if we can get some down in the hole, Rich. I'm sure that other one needs some too, so it's going in there. Alright, while I do this, we're going to make a makeshift. We're going to see if we can get this working here somehow. So the famous tie a knot in it, we could do that, I guess. Let's see if I can get this put around here real fast. Alright, hold on. Let's go on the tripod. Alright, so what the key is, we have to pull this out and see if the cable even moves. See if I'm strong enough to hold it. The cable doesn't seem to want to move. So we need WD-40 down in there to release that. Let's do it from this side and see if I can make it move. There we go. Let's see. Now I don't want to bust the cable or anything. See if we can get any kind of movement on this. So it seems to be frozen in there. So it doesn't want to move. So we got some good tension on it, but it does not want to move. We're going to have to put some WD-40 on it, and we'll come back in a few minutes here. Just keep soaking it with WD-40 and I'll come back. Alright guys, so what I am doing is I got the cable taken off and putting WD-40 down both ends of it here, and I am taking a pair of pliers that need some WD-40 on it and I'm pulling it, then go to this end, flip it around, pull it. Alright, so it's not coming from this way, it's moving one way but not the other, so we need some WD-40, more WD-40 down there. Alright, you can see here all the rust that builds up on your cables, and that's what's hindering it from moving back and forth. So we got to get something to free that up. Yeah, look at it, look at all that rust in there. So this one could break. It's already starting to unravel right there. See if I can pull it back this way at all. I don't know where I'm at. I'm trying to stand behind the camera. Man, see, it doesn't want to go that way at all. It only wants to move one way. So it doesn't want to go back up in there. But just a little more work than what's anticipated. Good thing is we've got the numbers written on the cable. So I don't know if we can zoom in or focus in on the cable, but it is 746 04 389 181137. Did you get that? So I don't know if we can focus in there. So that's the cable we need to replace. If we can't get this one working, we will be replacing it. Alright, so a little more WD-40 down in there. It's pulling out, but it's starting to break right there. So it's moving that way, and now should be moving this way a little bit. There we go. So now it is sliding back and forth. For how long will it last with this end of it unraveling? We don't know. It's further in here. Look at all this buildup in there. Sorry if I'm not getting good shots, but you can see all that rust build up in there. So how this goes on or off is these little clips right here. Well, you pinch those in and pull that off. So since it's moving, let's go ahead and try to put it back on. Alright, you just push that back in there like that, and that's in there. Alright, so let's get this one back in here. Which this is nice that it comes out. I don't believe the other one is built in. So if this one breaks here, it's built into this plastic thing. You gotta, when you order the cable, you'll get this whole plastic thing and everything. So that snaps in there like that. Now let's put this back on there. Since it's moving, let me do that. So as I pulled the cable, the spring is not strong enough to pull that rusty cable back and forth. So I can pull it, it can lock on, but it's not strong enough to, when I release the handle, it doesn't pull the brake on to turn off the mower. So you won't be able to turn off the mower. But I guess we can see if we can get it started. So we definitely need a new cable. See the spring, if you can see that, spring moves back and forth. Alright, let's put this back up in here. Alright, now the brake is on. As I'm going to pull this cord out. Alright, it's pulled out, but now it's stuck. So the brake is actually stuck on. It's not, because I don't have the cord no more, and it's not hooked up to the thing, so it's just stuck in there. So here, this is just stuck, so it's not even hooked up. So the cord it moves now with the WD-40, but it's not allowing this spring to pull that back to turn off the brake. So as I do it with a screwdriver, I can feel that tension in there. It's even hard to push. So I'm going to just take this off, or we can, let's put this back on, and let's see if it'll even fire over on some starter fluid. So that was our main thing. Let's put this back on. We won't be able to shut it off, but it just will run on starter fluid first. Who knows, 3 seconds or whatever if it starts. So this is on. So the handle's pulled down, it's back because the spring's not strong enough to release it. So let's put some starter fluid in there. We'll see if it even starts. And then we'll check on the cable. Alright, so we have confirmation. It is starting. So we'll have to get this off and turn that brake off. So let's get this off. Alright, so now you can see the brake works like it should. So it goes back and forth. So the spring's just not strong enough to pull this rusty cable, even though it's moving. And it starts up. Alright, so we found a cable. It's $14. And gonna be getting that new cable for it. Now, let's take some more while we're waiting for the cable. Let's go ahead and look for some more things on it. So we know we have to mess with the gas. And this looks like a primer bulb that's missing the primer bulb. That's what it looks like to me. So we will see if that's what that is. Let's check out the blade while we got it under here. See what that looks like. Well, the side discharge chute. Let's go from the other side. Now this is a self-propelled, so, and it looks like you can see the belt is on it. See if we can tilt this up. There's no gas in it, but there is the belt. Blade looks a little dirty underneath here. So be careful when you touch the blade. What's going on with this? Looks like the belt is off of it. So, is the blade bent at all? Let's kind of get a eyeball measure up on the blade. So, the belt looks like it should be up here, so we got to get that up there. See if we can get that back where it goes. One-handed, probably not. There you go. It took two hands to do it, but it is back up on the track where it's supposed to be. So that seems better now. The blade does not seem to be bent. The belt seems good and tight. Right. Here is the number for the Kawasaki. Let's see. So there we go. It is a March of 07 manufactured. And here is the code down here for something. Kawasaki. I don't know what this is. This just fell off the side. Piece of metal. Was setting up on here for some reason. Don't know what that was. I don't know if this looks all straight, but it looks like it. And then it doesn't have any gas in it. but this seems like it's a primer bulb, so I don't know offhand, because like I said, it was sitting here for who knows how long. But if that is a primer bulb, we'll need one of those to get put back on there. So this does seem to be a primer bulb that's missing the primer bulb, right? So we got to get that off of there and replace that. So this is a, what I say it was, it's a Kawasaki FJ180V DS04. So FJ180V DS04 primer bulb. Alright, so we are taking this off, 10mm, and we are going to remove this right here to check out this primer bulb. So let's go from there and we will see what we got when I get it off. So we got this off. We removed the primer bulb hose, and there is a clamp here. So this hose was hooked up there, and we just pulled that down out of there. Kind of hard to see, but that's what we got. So a hose up here and the primer bulb hole, and then we got this out. So then we have to undo this to get the primer bulb holder out, and then we'll see what goes on from there. So the nut that holds this on is a 14mm. Put you back up on the tripod as I do this. So we'll see. So we're unscrewing this. Like that. Pulling that out. Just like that. So, and then a primer bulb will go underneath here. Alright, we will set that down, and then we will unscrew this. So here is where your primer bulb goes. Alright guys, as we progress further on this MBO Backyard Fixes, and we got a primer bulb. So this unscrews, you put the new primer bulb inside there, and goes back inside here with your washer, and your nut goes on there. So we'll put that back on. Now I'll tighten it up here with the wrench, but so then your primer line goes here and the breather line goes there, goes back up in there. 2 bolts to hold the carb on go right in there. So let's go ahead and get this all tightened up and put back together. And that's snugged down with a 9/16. So let's get our hoses on here and we'll put that back together, and then we will assess the situation a little more once we get that back together. Now that we have a cable, we can remove the brake easily. We have a primer bulb. We can see if we can get some gas in there. Alright, let's get to it. So, just refresh your memory a little bit. Let's lift this up here. We have the air breather, and we have the primer. So we got to hook all that up. And then this thing here goes inside here. So it'll go up inside there. And it's just a O-ring that's on there. So you just push it up in there. And then we have our two bolts that'll hold this all back together. So what we are trying to do is to get this to automatically shut off. Now the cable seems like it has too much slack in it. So what you can do is lengthen the cable up. And what you do is unscrew these like this, screw this out a little bit, and then just keep adjusting it until you get the slack pulled out of it. So instead of tying a knot in it like some people seem to do, you can just unscrew these ends. So we're going to give that a try and see if it'll work. So I don't know if that unscrewing, if it's actually unscrewing, but on further inspection of this is bent here. So we got to bend this back right there, and we're going to use one of these BFPs. I'm going to try to bend this straight. So looks like we got it pretty straight now. And let's put it back in there, see if that helps out. Now, no. So there's still too much slack in this cable. So it is the right cable because I've looked up the number 2 or 3 times now, and it is the right cable. Now what the original cable has been discontinued, and they substitute this one with the original cable. So that's what I think I came up with. But we just got to get that slack out of there. It'll pull it back. There's some spring on there. You just got to get the slack out of it. So I believe it'll shut off the mower. So the mower, if you manually lift this up, it will shut off the mower. And then we're going to have to dig into this, get this fixed up so not so much slack in that. Alright, so to remove your pull cord, usually has some bolts like this. This happens to be a 10 millimeter. So you're just going to take that off. And don't worry, it's not going to unwind or anything like that. So it's all self-contained in there. Now you'll want to remove this from the side over here. So loosen that up some so you can get that out. Alright. So now on these pull cords, you know, they are made to go hang up here so you don't have to reach all the way down to the end of the lawnmower. So there could be a little bit of slack, but this one has just a little too much slack. So we are going to fix that. First thing you want to try is just could be dirty. And if it's dirty, the spring in here may be rusted up a little bit. You can see on top of here, so you got some water and you got some rust in there. But you can take some WD-40, some kind of lubricant like that, and spray. Find where your spring is. Right in here. See the spring coming out there, and you can see it's kind of rusty. So spray some WD-40 in there, and then work that pull cord back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And see if you can see if it'll go in further and further each time. Alright, so we're going to take this, find that spring opening right there, and we are going to spray our WD-40 or lubricant of choice in there. Let that work itself down in there. Spray that good. Give that a few seconds there. And then let's start pulling the rope out here. See if that'll free it up. See. Alright, so just work that back and forth. Put some more WD-40 on it. And just get that nice and lubed up. Alright, so that's one way. And you should do this every so often. Especially if you keep your lawnmowers outside in the weather. You should lubricate them at least once a year to do this. It seems like it's going in a little bit further than it was, but it might not be in all the way. So we are going to reinstall the top of this, and I just put 2 bolts in it just to hold it, just to get it on there, and we'll see if it cleared up the tension. So as you can see, it's still a little bit loose. Not quite going all the way back. So you got just a little bit more, but it did make it a little better than what it was. Alright, so if you still have a little bit of flapping string, then we'll move on to step number 2. Alright, so step number 2 that you can try. Is that what we're on? Step number 2. If WD-40 doesn't work, you can put 1 wind or 2 winds, depending on how much you need to pull back in there. Some of these have a notch on it, and you can use that notch as an indicator. Well, this one doesn't have a notch on it. So what you can do, pull this out just a little bit, use one of these for a indicator. All right, you want to push this in, get some slack on it. So let's push that in there a little bit, like that. Hold that up underneath, and then what you can do, get you back in the camera, and get you an Allen wrench like this, and you can reach down in there and pull that up in there. Alright, so that's what you want to do. You want to pull this out, and we are going to mark that right here with this, and we are going to use this to wind it one time. So we're going to go counterclockwise, just like that. Counterclockwise. So did you get all that, or was I too close? So I put the string around here and did that counterclockwise. So you want to try that again, get a better shot at it. So we'll see if I can reenact the scene. So we're going to pull this out. We're going to pull this out with your little Allen wrench. Wrap that around there like that. And then we are going to go counterclockwise one spin. Let's see if that will do the trick. So now I'm trying to do it for the video instead of just doing it. Alright, hold some tension on that, and then allow that string to be pulled back in there. See if that did some of the tension. Now if that doesn't work enough, then we can do one more. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this, and let's see if it took up some of that slack. Who is that right there? The cat is in my video again. Alright, so anyways, we are not installing the whole thing. I just put the two corner screws on, and we will go from here and see how good it does. So it did tighten it up. Might be able to go one more on it. So if it's not tight enough, see that? It's not even hanging down. So we just tighten that up. Now, if you're still getting some slack on it, you can go one more spin around there. Alright, so now we want to make sure. So here's one thing you want to do. Let's pull this all the way out. Alright, so the string is all the way out, so it's all the way out. Now you want to make sure that the spring isn't all the way out. So if you can turn it a little bit like that, so the spring is not all the way out. So you don't want to hit the spring before you hit the end of the rope. So don't wind it too tight. So you get that slack put in there, so that way you can reach down in there with something like this and pull it out. Pull that rope right up. Reach in there. Now what you can do is go over to Grandma's house, get you a crochet hook, and put it down in there and steal that out of there. So now we're going to pull this out again. We're going to wrap it around this and go counterclockwise with it to give it some more tension. Alright, so there you go, you got it counterclockwise. Hold your hand on that, let it go. So now it's even in a little bit further. Alright, so you guys, once you get that in there and it's working good, we can reinstall it to check out the work. So once again, just do a little recap. Push this in, pull this out just a little bit, find you a marking point. If it doesn't have one of the little cutouts, pull your string out, wrap it around counterclockwise one time, then let it go, and it will go back in there. Alright, let's get it reinstalled. Let's check it out. Alright guys, so I went ahead and reinstalled that. Went ahead and put the 4 bolts back in, and it looks like it has some nice good tension on there. So let's try it out. Alright guys, here is our Huskee Supreme 22-inch Kawasaki motor, and we had to do a couple backyard fixes on it. Put a new primer bulb on here, right here. We put this new cable on that goes up here. We had to rewind the pull string so that it works. We had to get the gears in here oiled up because they were not spinning the wheels at all, and there is still one little issue with it. Let's check this out right here. So there's a little spring inside there. I don't know if you can see it. It springs back, okay, just not the most powerful spring, so spring's starting to wear out. So at some point that could be changed out, but it does spring back, so that's good. And the blade, it is nice and clean underneath there. The blade does not need to be sharpened. There is a nice edge on that blade. So I think this is going to wrap this up here. Hey guys, thanks for joining me on MBO Backyard Fixes with this Huskee Kawasaki engine, where we had to fix a few things on it. And hey, if you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, get notified every time there's a new video. Hey, this is Rich with MBO Backyard Fixes.